Let's see who shows up today. If anybody. That's alright though. Alright. Loving up. Then stain is going to go on that and that. All right. Oh. See. Tell you, no one's on Saturday lately. I guess school started. People got better things to do with their weekends. All right. For those of you who are not here, I'm going to get started. Got a lot of stuff to tongue oil up this weekend. And I'm gonna have so much stuff to cord up tomorrow. I've got to cord up a Uwara. I've got 5 of these Buffy steaks I've got to cord up. I've got this weird natural steak I haven't quite figured out what to do with. I think I'm gonna cord it up in the middle so it can be like stabby stab, stabby stab. I don't know. This one I'm not super thrilled with. The bark was a lot thicker on this than I thought it was gonna be for some reason. And I gotta tape up a handle on a vampire bat. And I gotta cord wrap a handle on a vampire hunter sword thingamadoodle. Oh yeah, I've got the machete too. Anyway, I'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to Saturday Staining, everybody. I'm oiling up a Uwara here. I've got a Uwara, some steaks. I got a Tessin war fan. I got a tongue oil, machete waster, vampire hunter sword. Then I've got to stain a vampire bat, another steak, and a Donatello staff. A lot of stuff to oil up this weekend and stain. So thank you for coming and hanging out with me. Help me be a little less bored while I do this. All right, let me go stick this one in the dry room. Be right back. Whew. What's up, everybody? If you got any questions, feel free to stick them in the chat while I oil up these vampire steaks. These are my, these are actually replicas for Buffy the Vampire Slayer. These are, there's a scene in the original movie with Christy Swanson where she stakes Paul Rubens' character with a stake made out of a ruler. Unfortunately, actual rulers are really difficult and horribly flimsy to make stakes out of, so I make these out of pine so that they look like rulers but aren't rulers. Hey, what's up there, Free Palestine? All right, that one's done. Be right back. Woot woot. Oh my goodness. While I'm doing this, if you got any questions about what I'm doing or what I do here at the shop, feel free to drop those in the chat. I will gladly answer them. We just got 5 of these steaks to oil up this morning and a bunch of wasters and other things to oil up, and then we're gonna stain a steak and a vampire bat and a bow staff this morning. Appreciate anyone who's here hanging out with me this Saturday while I finish up my work. Oh my God, I've got that song "Punk Rocker" by Iggy Pop stuck in my head this morning. Not sure why, or this afternoon. It's afternoon now, isn't it? Yeah, it is. But if anybody's got questions, drop those in the chat. Otherwise, I'm just sitting here talking to the air, which feels weird. Ah. If I say 6, I'll donate 200. I have no idea what that even means. You want me to say the word 6? No. Not really looking for donations. Not really looking for donations, my man, but thanks. Wrong chat. I'm good. I don't really need the money, but appreciate it. Thank you. How do I say that? Blanix? You will donate $200? Do I just have to give you my social security number and a picture of my driver's license? Like, what do I need to do there? You can keep the 200. I'm good. Thank you, though. Don't need it, my man. I'm all good. You right back? One more of these steaks to oil up, and then we can move on to the bigger stuff. Yeah. Oh, I know you. No, you're good. You don't need to donate anything. I'm all right. I appreciate it, though. Save it for somebody who needs it. I don't. I'm sure there's somebody else out there that could use $200 a lot more than I could. I'm good to go. And I got this flimsy little natural wood steak. I started working on it this morning. When I stripped the bark off, the bark was way thicker than I thought it was going to be. Turned out a little flimsy. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to oil it up for now. I'll probably just auction it off on the eBay store. This one's not exactly up to par with what I usually expect of my vampire steaks. I like my vampire steaks to be a little more functional than this thing. Although I guess you could stabby this way and stabby that way, I guess. I don't know. So I guess it's at least multifunctional, but just a little flimsy for my taste. But I hate wasting wood, so I'll probably just auction it off on the cheap. All right, let me get a new towel here. So I got this other thing. I have a custom order from a client I've had for a while to do a Tessen war fan club. Japanese daimyo carried them. So daimyo, funny story. So Japanese daimyo used to carry war fans, right? And they would often smack their subordinates with them when frustrated. However, the fans weren't really meant to be used that way. So what they started doing instead was having these wood clubs made in the shape of their war fans. So that way they could smack their subordinates with them without worrying about damaging their actual fan. So I've got a client once with one. He wants his out of yellow heart. I made this one out of purple heart. Just as a proof of concept, because I've never made one before. But I think it came out pretty cool. It's got a little hole in the handle for a loop. I'm probably going to put a leather thong on it for that. But yeah, I'm not mad at it. It came out pretty awesome. I'm actually looking forward to making the one out of Purple Heart for him. I might actually make a few more of these. I've got some padauk and some zebra wood and some other exotic woods that I think would look cool as these war fans. So I think I'm going to make some more of these because they're definitely cool. The holidays are coming around, so give me just one more thing to have on the shop. But I like it. I do need to, though, to make sure I put some oil down in that hole so that it definitely penetrates all the way in. You always got to oil your holes. That's a very important part of what I do. You always got to make sure you oil the holes. And that's never going to stop being funny. So I'm going to keep making that joke every weekend. All right, I'll be right back. Woot woot. All right. Now I made this Vampire Hunter wooden stake sword. Let's not make a mess, Nathan. I need to tongue oil it up. I made this one out of white ash. If I can get this to close. There we go. This one's pretty fun. Made out of white ash. I'm gonna cord wrap the handle in the morning. So I go live on Saturdays and Sundays. On Saturdays, I'm usually live sometime between noon and 1, usually no later than 1 for staining. And then on Sunday morning lives are usually a lot longer. Those start at about 7:30 in the morning, which if you're up at that ungodly hour, I'm sorry. But if you got nothing better to do with your time at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time on a Sunday, you can come check me out. I will be finishing all this stuff, doing my Sunday finishing work. I'll be cord wrapping handles and cording up the Uara and all that stuff in the morning. But first, all this stuff's got to be properly oiled and stained. So there's the Vampire Hunter sword. Be right back. All right. And my last thing to tongue oil before I move on to the stain is I sold one of my machete wasters last week. A lot of these are mostly used by people who do Kali, Silat, Eskrima, sometimes Eskrima, and some other martial arts that use machetes. So, but I usually try to keep 2 in stock at all times, and I sold one, I think, last week. So, I'm making another one so I don't run out. And if you're looking for the shop, you can find the link in my bio here on YouTube and on my bio on Instagram, but I'm on eBay as Warrior Wooden Props. You can also go to warriorwoodenprops.com. However, right now, Shopify, I'm not sure what their deal is, but they have screwed up my website somehow, and there's no way to get in touch with their customer support, so I have no way of fixing it. And I'm trying to get in touch with someone to figure out how to just cancel my freaking account, because I am very unhappy with them right now. All right. And the tongue oil, the reason I do this, a lot of people have asked in the past on these lives, is it penetrates the wood and it dries hard once it oxidizes, and it seals and reinforces the wood, makes it a little stronger, makes it a little more bug resistant, all that jazz. All right, that's all the tongue oil stuff. Good times. Let me toss this and my gloves. Gotta switch my gloves out. My hands got sweaty. I gotta look ridiculous for a minute while I kind of try to dry my hands off. Oh. But if you got any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat. Next up, I got this little poplar stake. I've got this Donatello staff that I'm going to cord wrap tomorrow. And my favorite thing, I got a vampire bat. It's a vampire hunter baseball bat. So you can hit them with the bat and then stake them with the bat. See, it's a multifunctional tool. Multifunction is very important, especially for vampire hunters. So you always want to be able to stun the vampire first before you stake the vampire. It's always important. So I feel like the vampire bat is very useful in that regard. You can smack them upside the face with it and then stake them with it. So yeah, I'm just trying to do my part to equip my customers for the impending vampire apocalypse. I know it's not really on anybody's bingo card for 2025, but the way things have been going, I feel like it could happen at this point. You know, I think it's funny. Like in 2020, we all freaked out for murder hornets, and things have gotten so much worse since then. At this point, I'm kind of hoping for the zombies and/or vampires to show up because I feel like that would at least be a more fun way to watch the world end, right? Instead of just watching it slowly deteriorate into destruction. All right, let me wipe this bad boy out. All right, wow. And stain. We got a new can of stain I gotta break out this week. Been sitting in the back of the shop, so it's covered in sawdust, like everything else in my shop, including me. Everything's always covered in sawdust. I feel like cleaning sawdust is probably 50% of what I do in this shop. I have 2 air scrubbers and a dust collection system, but just doesn't catch all of it. All right. Let me mix this bad boy up, and we're gonna stain the stake and the vampire bat and that Donatello staff. Ooh, they made this can very full. Good gracious. This is gonna take me a minute. Can't stir too fast because it's very full. If you got any questions for me, feel free to drop those in the chat while I mix up this stain, because I would love to have something to talk about while I do this, because this is so boring. Which is, of course, why I subject you guys to it, because why would you want to watch something exciting when you could watch a portly middle-aged man buff and polish and oil and stain wood? Like, that's way more fun. It's kind of like watching paint dry, but slightly more interesting. All right, I think that's good enough. All right. I'll do this little stake first, and then I'll do the vampire bat. Just making sure everybody's ready for the vampire apocalypse. It's very important. All right. One of these days I need to do a video on how to properly stake a vampire, because I always think it's funny how movies, they never really pay attention to any of the rules when it comes to staking vampires. And there are rules to staking vampires. No one seems to ever really acknowledge that. I need to do a video on that sometime. All right. Whew. Now we got the vampire bat. This one will get stained today, and then tomorrow I usually just do the handle wrap with athletic tape because it kind of looks cool and a little bit rough, and then I'll distress it so that it looks cool. For those of you who are wondering, why is this guy holding a bat that's got a sharp tip on it? It's because this is for vampire hunters, the vampire hunter baseball bat. Or as I like to call it, the vampire bat, because I'm a sucker for puns. That way you can smack them and then you can stake them. Very good. Very useful for the vampire hunter who likes to get a little melee involved, you know? Because you can't always just stake them in the coffin. Although that's what I would recommend if it's possible. Definitely coffin is the best place because they're sleeping. I'd rather fight the vampires while they're sleeping. Because I'm old. And slow. Honestly, these days, if a vampire showed up, I'd probably just ask him to turn me. Middle age sucks. Everything hurts all the time. There you go. All right. Yeah, I'm not mad at it. All right, be right back. You've got one last thing to stain. If you got any questions, drop them in that chat because I'm almost done for today. About time for me to go home, eat some lunch, maybe play some Helldivers 2, spread some managed democracy across the galaxy for Super Earth. If you don't know what Helldivers 2 is, I'm sorry. You should go play that game immediately because it's amazing. This is for I make 3 different styles of Ninja Turtle Donatello cosplay staves. I've got one that's a standard kind that is for people that do the 1991 latex, like Jim Henson Creature Shop style Ninja Turtles, because they have very specific holders on those, and so my standard staves fit those holders. And then this is the deluxe version of that staff. It's longer and thicker. That's just for somebody who just wants a staff that looks like Donatello's staff and wants to be able to use it. They're about 62 inches long. And then I also make a child's version that's about 48 inches long for kids to use on Halloween. Oddly enough, the Donatello staff has been one of my best sellers for a few years now. All 3 of them. They usually around Halloween and Christmas I sell quite a few of these. All right. Hey, if you got any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Thank you for joining me on this Saturday staining. I am wrapping up with the last thing here. This deluxe Donatello staff. Tomorrow morning I'll be back though. Alright. So I go live to do my finishing work on Sundays at 7:30 a.m. If you're awake at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time on a Sunday, which I know is a terrible, horrible, ungodly hour, I am awake at that time every day, it seems like. So I come in here, because if I don't get up early, I never get to do anything else. So I get up early every day, so I can do the shop and my day job and my second job as a writer. for DK Publishing. So I'm a copywriter, I'm an author, and I run this weird ass shop. I have a lot of jobs. Anyway, so I'll be on tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. to do my Sunday finishing work, and I will be cording up that one Yawara that I did earlier, cord wrapping the handles on the Donatello staff and the Vampire Hunter sword. I'll be cord wrapping the stakes, stake handles. The hell else did I make? Oh yeah, and the Buffy the Vampire Slayer stakes. I will be doing those as well. Dad, hey, what's up, kid? Dad, is that my son? Hey, what's up, kiddo? Good to see you. Welcome to my party. I'll be right back. I gotta put some stuff up. Oh, I'm just finishing up my work for today. I made a bunch of stuff. And you can see, I made a bunch of stuff today. So I've just been sanding and tongue oiling all that. And I just got done. So I'm going to put this stuff away. And then I'm going to go home and play some Helldivers 2. And hopefully sometime soon you will be able to join me on Helldivers 2. We got to talk about that. We got to talk about that, kid. Hopefully, yes. Hopefully, we got it. We'll work. We're gonna work it out. Don't you worry. Whew. All right. I got to put away. Put away my tools here, and I'm just about done for today. Cause I'm a bone rocker, yes I am. And I got this song stuck in my head. Okay. Let me go put these up. If you got any questions, drop them in the chat now, because I am finishing up for today. But like I said, I will be back. I do my Sunday lives at about 7:30 a.m. Eastern time on Sunday. So if you are awake that early or that late, depending, it seems like it's 7:30 a.m. when I do my lives. People are either just waking up or they've been up way too late. Like I have people that show up who have just not slept all night. So you're more than welcome to come hang out with me while I cord wrap handles and cord up the centers of my Yawara and answer questions about weird stuff. All right, buddy. Take care. I'll see you again soon. Thanks for hanging out with me, kid. Anyway, that's about it for me today, everybody. Unless anybody has any questions, I'm going to wrap it up, go home, play some Helldivers 2, kill some bugs on the game. I'm not going to kill any actual bugs. At least I'm not planning on killing any actual bugs, aside from in the game. And have some lunch and try to enjoy the rest of my Saturday. But thanks for hanging out with me on Saturday Standing. I will see you guys either tomorrow morning or next Saturday. Peace. I'm out.